Hi everyone, Aaron here for Zollotech, and this week we have a lot to talk about with future changes at Apple, future products with the iPhone Fold, iPhone 18, as well as updates and more. This is your weekly Apple News update for the week of November 17th, 2025. Now this year marks 5 years of Apple Silicon. Greg Joswiak posted on X where it says it's hard to believe it's been 5 years since Apple Silicon transformed the Mac. The performance, battery life, new designs, amazing features, and user creativity it unlocked have been remarkable. The impact has been profound and the Mac has never been better. So definitely was a huge change and much better than what we had with Intel at the same time. So I've been using it ever since, and it makes things such as editing video so much faster. So I'm glad to see they did that, and hopefully it gets much better over the next 5 years or so. This marks the 24th year of iPod. This is my original 4th gen iPod that was my first device from Apple. You'll see it's the 40 gigabyte model and it still works just fine. It's something my wife bought me for Christmas a long time ago, and it's what got me into Apple and trying out many different things. So let me know if you had an iPod in the comments below and which version you started with as well. Apple this week showed off how it 3D prints parts for the Apple Watch. If we take a look at their newsroom post here, you'll see it says mapping the future with 3D printed titanium Apple Watch cases. So it's for the Apple Watch Ultra like this one. And if we scroll down here, there's a lot of information about how they're doing it. Sustainability, you'll see here, 400 plus metric tons in raw titanium savings in 2025, 100% aerospace grade recycled titanium powder, and there's a little video about it as well showing some of the printing and how it works. So I'll link this in the description below as it's a nice read and shows exactly what Apple is doing as far as 3D printing and how it works overall. So let me know what you think of this, if you've checked it out, and hopefully we see more products like this as well. Within the Wallet app, if you tap the plus button and go to driver's license and ID card, you'll see we have a new option for Illinois. It's now been added to Apple Wallet. So if you want to add your license here so you don't have to carry it around with you, of course you still can, but it's now an option. However, it seems like it's quite popular. It says, thank you for your interest in adding your ID to Wallet. Due to high volume, your state's service is currently busy. Do you want to be notified when it becomes available? So you can have it notify you or say no thanks. So currently you have the option for a passport, as well as some states, and then of course the My Number card in Japan. Other than that though, your state has to work with Apple to add it, so it's not up to Apple, it's up to your state, and that's probably why this is sort of delayed in Illinois, as their servers are quite busy. So they have to manage that side of it and work hand in hand with Apple to get this added. Apple has expanded AppleCare Plus in India. You'll see it here in the Apple Newsroom announcement, and if we scroll down, it says AppleCare gives our customers peace of mind knowing that their products are protected. It says in addition to new flexible monthly and annual AppleCare Plus subscription choices, AppleCare Plus with theft and loss for iPhone adds coverage for up to 2 incidents of theft or loss every year. That's available in India, and if we scroll down, you'll see here, it starts at $7.99. So that's available now. Let me know if you've opted into this, if you're trying it out, or if you're seeing it in India as well. Now, it seems Tesla is going to be adding Apple CarPlay in the coming months, according to Mark Gurman. While I never personally missed CarPlay when I owned a Tesla before, having the option for some who would like to use it instead obviously is a better idea just to have more choice. However, my issue is with the maps. You can't pinch and zoom yet, so I find that it's better on the Tesla maps where you can pinch and zoom, get real-time traffic, and of course planning to different charging stations when you need it. So I find it's better using Tesla with the Music app or Spotify, but again, they'll give the option, and I'm sure other manufacturers will follow. Tim Cook may be stepping down as soon as 2026 as CEO of Apple, according to the Financial Times. Based on their report, the current board of directors and senior executives have intensified their preparations for Cook to hand over the overall role. So we don't have a specific time or any date, but we could see that transition start to happen in 2026. However, if he does step down as CEO, most likely he'll stay on, maybe as chairman of the board, or possibly as an Apple fellow to help out as needed, as long as things are running smoothly. So that seems likely, and possibly it could go over to John Turnus. So it's long been rumored that it would go over to John Turnus to be in charge, but we'll have to wait and see what they do. Let me know if you think that will be a good thing, a bad thing, or you're indifferent. Apple last week announced an App Store Mini Apps Partner Program. There's details on their developer website, and Mini Apps are a self-contained experience that are built using web technologies like HTML5 and JavaScript. So the program is designed to help developers who host mini apps grow their business and further the availability of mini apps on the App Store. So it should help with that. You'll see how the program works, and then there's different requirements here. So overall, it means basically participating, may benefit from reduced commission rates of 15% on the sales of qualifying in-app purchases. So I'll link this in the description if you're a developer and haven't heard this, and then you can join the program as well. Now, aside from the new iPhone Pocket that seemed to sell out quite quickly, you'll see it's no longer available. If we scroll down, you can check stores, but it's not available where I live. They are now selling the PlayStation VR2 controllers for Apple Vision Pro. So if we look up PlayStation, you'll see here that we have the VR2 Sense controllers for $249.95. So those are available now if you want to use those with your Apple Vision Pro for different apps and other things. So let me know if you've picked these up, if it's worth it or not. I haven't decided to get them just yet, but we'll have to wait and see if it's worth it. The Apple TV app this year will now include MLS or Major League Soccer free of charge with the Apple TV subscription. So before you had to pay extra for this, but Major League Soccer will be coming for free next year. So the 2026 season will be available. So under your sports, MLS Cup playoffs on Apple TV, again next year, this will be free of charge. Hopefully we'll see that with F1 as well, maybe in the future, but it looks like that could be an additional charge as well, but we don't know just yet. As far as apps and games updated this week, well, there's a couple to mention. If we go into the App Store, Apple Sports was updated, so it's now available in additional European countries. So if you go and search for Apple Sports in your App Store and you see it there, it should be available. It's not available everywhere, but it is available in more places than it was before. Also, WhatsApp will soon release an update with third-party chat support in the EU to comply with recent laws. WhatsApp will be able to interoperate with third-party apps, with the first being HiKit and Birdie Chat. So this is just something to comply with the DMA requirements within the EU. Also, if you're using the MyVW app, it's now available on the Apple Watch, so you can have some shortcuts there, see status of your car, and it's available now. Also, Red Dead Redemption and Undead Nightmare are launching on iOS on December 2nd. You can see the announcement here from Rockstar Games, where they're launching it on iOS, Android, PS5, Netflix, Xbox, and Nintendo Switch 2. So those will be available then. Apple also announced different games on Apple Arcade launching on December 4th, with SpongeBob Patty Pursuit 2, things such as Power Wash Simulator, Subway Surfers Plus, and others. So those will be available December 4th if you have Apple Arcade. In addition to this, Apple recently acquired the studio that makes Sneaky Sasquatch. So if we go into Sneaky Sasquatch, there was an update. So if we go here, go to Sneaky Sasquatch, there's actually a new sticker pack. So you'll see Sneaky Sasquatch stickers. So if you want to get these to use on your phone, they're now available with a bunch of different stickers for free. Now, there's quite a few new good Apple deals this week as we're starting to get early Black Friday deals. So the first thing is the MacBook Air M4. This is actually the M2 MacBook Air, but the M4 MacBook Air is discounted down to $749 to start, which means it's $250 off for the base model. There's also discounts on AirPods 4 down to $84.99. So if you're looking to pick up some of those and you don't want the AirPods Pro, there's also AirTag discounts for a 4-pack for $64.99. I'll link those and others as they show up in the description below, as there's going to be some great deals for Black Friday with all of the different Apple products. As far as releases this week, well, there was new AirPods Pro 3 beta firmware updates. It brings it to 8B5025A, and while I don't typically like to try out the betas on my AirPods, if you're having an issue, you could try it out, but that doesn't mean there won't be other issues. So if you connect your AirPods, you can actually enable this by scrolling to the bottom in your AirPods menu, going to AirPods beta updates, and then enabling it. So if you want to test that out, you have that option. However, I personally am not trying it out this time unless there's some major feature updates. So far, it doesn't look like there's anything obvious at this point. iOS 26.2 is making quite a bit of progress. It's really ramping up to get closer to the final release, and I would expect iOS 26.2 Beta 4 as soon as next Monday or Tuesday. So maybe the 24th we see Beta 4, with the release candidate possibly on December 1st, and a public release sometime around December 8th. Now, they do have to release it before the 19th, so that's when we could expect the public release, maybe that week, but since it's a holiday, maybe we'll see it on Tuesday that week. Either way, we can expect it in the second or third week of December typically. Then, of course, we'll move on to iOS 26.3 Beta 1, where we'll have that as the last beta, typically before the end of the year, with the next beta coming out usually the second or third week of January. So that's what I would expect this year, and so far it's not looking like anything else will be released. We're not seeing any signs of iOS 26.1.1, but of course that's always possible. When it comes to software this week, Apple Fitness Plus is under review according to Mark Gurman. In his Power On newsletter the other day, he believes that it will be merged into a larger Health Plus service to launch in 2026. There will supposedly be an AI-based coach for health, just like we currently have a fitness buddy on Apple Watch when working out. So we could see a big change to that in the coming year. Now, an unusual rumor we're hearing has to do with a case for the iPhone for the next generation. According to Instant Digital on Weibo, Apple is working on an iPhone case that would help control the phone without interacting with the screen. For example, controlling music using the controls on the case. The leaker only said it will make the iPhone Pro even more pro, so we don't know exactly what that means. Maybe they'll get rid of camera control on the phone and then just move it to the case if you want something like that. That might be a good move, where instead if you don't want it on the phone, you have it here, and then it enables that feature. We don't really know what this means, but I would love to see some sort of unique case in the near future. Now, when it comes to the iPhone Air, it seems the iPhone Air 2 is still expected, but not next year, it seems. According to Mark Gurman, both the iPhone Air 2 and the 20th anniversary iPhone will launch in 2027 at separate times. Gurman believes that the iPhone Air 2 would launch around March of 2027, with the 20th anniversary iPhone releasing in September. So it looks like Apple's going to split this up. We've heard this before, where some of the Pro models would be more in the fall, and sort of the more basic models might be in the spring. Also, the iPhone Air 2 is also set to gain another camera according to the information. Adding an ultra-wide would also give the ability of macro and spatial video back to the iPhone, and I think if Apple could maybe add a silicon carbide battery, that technology with greater density may make the iPhone Air last a lot longer. So I would love to see something like that, but either way, it seems some have hinted that the iPhone Air is canceled, but it seems like they've just delayed it a year or so as it's not a yearly release. Now, with the iPhone 18 Pro and iPhone 18 Pro Max next year, they're expected to maintain most of the design we have, but seems like they'll be slightly thicker and weigh about 10 grams more according to leaker Instant Digital on Weibo. So they'll increase the thickness overall, and if true, it would make the iPhone 18 Pro Max the heaviest iPhone Apple has ever made. That would be about by 3 grams or so compared to the 14 Pro Max, which is the current heaviest. So based on that rumor, it could be even heavier. It's quite heavy already, but maybe they'll add an even thicker battery and change something else. Also, the iPhone 18 models may get rid of the current two-tone look in favor of a better color-matched back piece of glass here. So currently we have Corning Gorilla Glass, but the overall look is a two-tone design. I actually like the two-tone design, but it seems many people don't and would rather have it just match the back altogether. So let me know what you think of that in the comments below. Now, iPhone Fold is still being worked on, according to Mark Gurman, and it seems like the iPhone Air is probably half of what the iPhone Fold is. We have a super thin phone. Of course, they could maybe change the camera bump. We don't really know at this point. But according to Mark Gurman, Apple is planning to release just 3 iPhones next September, with the iPhone 18 Pro, iPhone 18 Pro Max, and the iPhone Fold. So we would only have 3 models in September or the fall, with sort of the lower end models or base models launching sometime around spring. I think this is a good idea. It sort of gives those people time to evaluate them, try them out, see what they want best. But I've long said I would love to see them go back to just 2 models a year, where we have a smaller size and a larger size, like we did with the iPhone 6 and 6 Plus, and then all the way up to the 8. So maybe we'll see that again. We don't really know, but it looks like they're still going to sell the lower end models or cheaper models as well. We also expect the iPhone 17 and 17e would be launched at different times as well. Now, the iPhone Fold is also now rumored to have the largest battery capacity in an iPhone ever, according to YEUX1122 on the Naver blog. The size being tested is supposedly between 5,400 and 5,800 milliamp hours. This would make it larger than the current Z Fold 7 by almost 1,000 milliamp hours. So I think that would be welcomed by most people using iPhone. Now, we're still waiting for an update on the HomePod Mini. Many stores have them listed as discontinued, or others just show them low in stock, and that seems odd for this time of the year when Apple would sell most of them around the holiday season. So maybe we'll get a HomePod Mini 3, or maybe Apple's just getting rid of it, maybe opting for new home devices sometime next year. Apple TV could also get a refresh soon, but again, we haven't heard any announcement. So it's a bit odd, and it's starting to be quite a bit too late in the year for having those sorts of announcements, but you never know, we could have something like that soon. The Mac Pro is reportedly being written off, according to Mark Gurman. In the weekly Power On newsletter, he said Apple is focusing on Mac Studio and that the Mac Pro won't be updated in any significant way in 2026. Currently, you can get a Mac Pro starting at $6,999, but it still has the old chipset in it. So if we go to configure it here, give it a second, you'll see if we scroll down, we just have the M2 Ultra is the option for the processor. It hasn't even been updated yet. We could have an M4 Ultra, an M5 Ultra, but they still haven't done anything with it. So it's a bit sad to see it sort of go away, but there isn't a whole lot you can do as far as add-in cards as well. But I would love to see them do some sort of revamped Mac Pro or change the Mac Studio, as I find the overall design kind of boring and more function over form. So I would love to see maybe this style in the front of a Mac Studio just to make it look a little more inspiring. But either way, it's a bit sad, and I loved my 2019 Mac Pro. We do expect quite a few new Mac updates in 2026, though. We expect a MacBook Pro with an OLED display later this year, a Mac Studio updated to the M5 Ultra, an M5 Mac Mini, a low-cost MacBook, an M5 MacBook Air, and updated displays such as the Studio display, hopefully with 120Hz ProMotion, and maybe a Pro Display XDR as well. We could also get an iMac update, but so far we haven't heard a whole lot about that. So let me know what you're looking most forward to in the comments below. I'm looking forward to an M5 Ultra updated either Mac Studio or MacBook Pro, as I'm typically using an M1 Ultra currently. But let me know what you're looking most forward to, and of course I'll link this wallpaper in the description like I normally do. If you haven't subscribed already though, please subscribe, and if you enjoyed the video, please give it a like. As always, thanks for watching. This is Aaron. I'll see you next time.